So I'm going to give you the quickest, easiest description of exactly what's going on in the woods right now, why you caused the imbalance, and why guys like me who are really truly concerned are doing something to fix it. Okay? This is what's going on. Now let's just take a long valley. A long, untouched valley. It's never been touched ever before, meaning human access. It's all still in its natural state before man wins or extract all the goodies that you like. Now we're going to put a handful of moose in the bottom of the valley, along the river bottom. We're going to say they're wintering down there. Let's take a winter. We're going to take the winter time as the example. This is a critical time. So we're going to put a bunch of moose in the bottom. We're going to stand them up in those willow bushes, which they need to survive, and which the willow as well enables the moose to elude wolves a lot easier because the moose just plow right over top of that tall, thick willow, or the wolves have to wind their way in and out of it to pursue them. Makes it real difficult for them. Now let's move into the timber up the side of the slope. On this 20-mile-long valley, we're going to take one side as an example. We're going to get in that timber, and let's sprinkle, say, 150 to 200 caribou in that timber. We're going to put pockets of them. Maybe we'll put 25, 30 caribou way at the end, 20 miles down that way. And we're going to take another handful of caribou. We're going to put them, maybe 15 miles this way. And we're going to take another 40 caribou. We're going to put them way down at this end of that timber, okay? Then we're going to move up a little higher. We're going to be up in the rocky benches and more of the steeper zones. And we're going to sprinkle a bunch of deer in there, maybe even some bighorn sheep. We're going to put, a pocket of deer here, up on this shelf in the big mature timber, a pocket of deer up there, a pocket of deer 20 miles down that way. Everything's spread out. Everything's utilizing that timbered slope in the valley bottom to survive the winter, and it's working for them. Now we're going to take some natural predators. We're going to throw a couple cougars in there, some bobcats, some lynx, coyotes, and we're going to take a pack of wolves, a healthy pack of wolves, 6 to 8 wolves. We're going to throw them in there too. Now what these wolves are naturally up against is the access. This particular pack of wolves, they don't have the energy in them. They don't have the energy to expend to bounce through 3 to 4 feet deep of powdery snow and travel 20 miles in one way over blowdowns, timber in the way, no routes, no trails to find and clean up every single caribou. They're just not going to do it. So they're going to go in the timber. They're going to have their little travel routes they normally use, which are typically the frozen river systems in the wintertime. They really love to use the ice. And they're going to travel up and down those river systems, find the game to sustain themselves for wintertime. Okay, so they're going to pick off the odd moose. They're going to catch. Eventually, they're going to work at it. They're going to grab one of those moose in those river patches. Okay, they're going to sustain themselves off that moose or two for a couple weeks, few weeks. And they're going to mix it up a little bit. They're going to head up into that timber, go on tour. Their tummies are all full. They've got lots of energy. They just made a kill the other day. And they're going to go on tour a little farther. Oh. Now they got a caribou trail. They're going to hammer on that caribou trail, take down a caribou. And no, it's not the sick and the weak, the old. They take down whichever one they catch, and they can catch any one of them. But anyway, getting back to what they're doing. So they take down the caribou. The rest of the herd, terrified, uh-oh, they escape, take off. It's possibly dumps another 2 feet of snow since that caribou got killed, since they sustained themselves. And now the wolves, possibly, maybe they're all full of caribou. They're going to bounce their way up into those steep benches and go chase deer for a few days. Maybe they'll take out a deer or 2 or 3. Fine, that's great. Then they might mix it up and head back down to the valley bottom again and maybe go work those moose again. Now the next winter, something changed. All of a sudden, there's this level, paved route that went from one end of the valley all the way to the other end of the valley, 20 miles. Not one log or blowdown or 3 feet of fluffy snow to slow up those wolves. They're like, oh my God, no way. You mean we can go ripping down this frickin' aisleway all the way down there like nothing? Every single one of us? Even the pups? Let's go. Whew. Off the wolves go down there. Then they come out to the end of the road and literally miles and miles and miles of timber is gone. It's annihilated, including the willow. It's gone. It's bare ground. And there's nothing in it, of course, because there's nothing can sustain, there's no life can be sustained in that big clear cut or in that mine, okay, or in that oil lease. It's gone. The life-giving timber is gone. The life-giving willow, the protection is gone, but the wolves went ripping down there like nothing. Okay, now we're here. Now what should we do? All right, let's go up. There's one patch of timber. Let's go see what's in that one patch of timber. Where there could be whatever's in that timber. The last standing, it's the last piece of cover for that group of caribou that was at the other end of the valley that was never discovered by these wolves ever before because the wolves never made it that far. Well, now those caribou are just got discovered in that tiny patch of timber. And the wolves annihilated them. The caribou had nowhere to go. The wolves had no natural obstacles to get there to find the caribou. They slaughtered every single one of them. And because they sustained themselves so easily and found that much more game easily, when breeding came in March, the females' bodies, the alpha pair, they multiplied, they bred and they multiplied, and their actual litter of pups increased from, their typical 2 to 3 pups. Now they had 6 new pups. Okay, no, take note, wolves live to be about 13 years old in the wild. It's a long time. Now this same wolf pack that was around 6 to 8 wolves is now up to around 10 to 12 to 14 wolves. And they got to get fed. They need a lot of food. Now this pack, this big, a larger than average pack of wolves has easy access all the way down to the other end of that valley, all the way down to that other end of that valley. They can run down there in one day. They've never been able to do that before because of the road that you guys made. Oh, well, it's wintertime, nobody drives those roads anymore. Oh, but wait, now there's snowmobile sled tracks going down that road, up the timber, into the alpine. Sweet, I'm a wolf, sweet. This is freaking amazing. Now we can rip right up on top of this. They just made this paved pathway for me and the buddies and even the pups to go ripping up into the alpine. This is freaking awesome. Now we can go hunt mountain goats, which normally didn't really hunt that often. We got access to all those benches where those mule deer are, way easier. And there's less timber. We got less area to look for them, and they got less area to hide in. We get to kill every one of them. Sweet. Thank you, humans. You guys are awesome. So now that wolf pack carried on up those roads, carried on up those snowmobile tracks, went into those patches of timber that are way smaller than what was originally supplied for that wolf pack, which was a complete timbered valley. Now the timber's gone. Now the caribou are holed up in this little island of timber, hiding, hoping to God they're not going to get annihilated, wondering what the hell's going on. Now some sledders went up there, skimmed through there, created a pathway. Here comes the 14 wolves, and they went into that small little timber patch, and they annihilated those caribou too. These wolves are having nothing but fun. Then the wolves are like burping and farting caribou fur. Well, hey, we're all the way back here already, and that paved trail goes way up there. Let's go run up that paved trail and the pups and everybody, and let's go hammer on some deer for a couple weeks. Yippee! Then they go up there, find the mule deer that are in those little patches of timber, clean those off too. Tummies are fed. Oh, it's March again, it's breeding season time. Let's make some more puppies. They have another litter of 6 to 8 pups where they naturally wouldn't, because they naturally would not be able to find that amount of game. Meanwhile, the game is dwindling down. Those pockets of game that are normally hiding in pockets of timber on that full timber valley that the herd relies on to survive the winter, to produce the offspring, to keep everything level, well, now all those small pockets of ungulates are getting found and gobbled up. The wolves don't know that all the ungulates aren't breeding and keeping up, but the wolves' tummies are telling them, there's lots of food now, let's make more babies. So the wolves create another litter of pups of 6 to 8 more, and they get added onto the 14 from last year. And then through the spring and the summer and the fall, even more habitat gets removed because of you. The deer, the sheep, the caribou, the moose have even less habitat to survive off of, even less habitat to hide in. Now you've got a pack of wolves that are up to around 24, 26 wolves strong, and they got to get fed. And now they have even more paved routes to go find all the remaining ungulates. Now they have even more snowmobile track in the wintertime to run on top of, even the pups too, everybody, to go find the remaining ungulates, and they gobble them up too. And then they're gone. And then people like me, who spend an average 200 plus, 250 plus days a year in the woods, First Nations, cattle ranchers, other concerned outdoors people, hunters, trappers, they see this going down, they ring the alarm bell, and they get absolutely shit on and attacked by the very people that caused all this to happen. Now the people that caused this to happen are attacking the people that are ringing the alarm bell about the surplus wolves that are annihilating everything. They're attacking them. And they're trying to stop them from getting a handle on these surplus wolves so they can save the caribou, so they can save the sheep, so they can save the deer and the moose. The same people that are responsible for the extraction and the annihilation of the habitat, the same people that did that to the ungulates, are on top of that trying to stop people from leveling out the imbalance they caused. It's almost like you people that are so upset and angry at people that are harvesting these wolves, eliminating the surplus wolves, it's almost like you people hate caribou, hate moose, hate elk, hate deer, and hate mountain sheep because you can't be more effective in annihilating them. You can't. You have done it perfectly. You've created the perfect storm. You took away their food, you took away their cover, you created access for the wolves, and you enabled the wolves to reproduce unnaturally and annihilate all those game animals. And now you're trying to protect the wolves from being leveled out from humans that actually really care. I mean, you could not create a more of a perfect storm to annihilate the ecosystem than you, the anti-hunter, anti-trapper, so-called concerned conservationist. You've done a beautiful job. Then all of a sudden you have other people on your team who are also, for some weird reason, they hate the ungulates and they hate the ecosystem. And they deliver biased reports to the population about fish and game clubs who, out of desperation, have had to create a contest to help try to eliminate the surplus predators to save the remaining ungulates. Now you've actually got Global News jumping on the team of annihilation. Okay, let's call it Team Annihilation, which consists of the City Dwellers, Global News, Raincoast, all these people, the Great Bear Rainforest people, all these people that call themselves conservationists, and they're trying to stop the leveling out of an overpopulated predator population that's absolutely annihilating the game animals. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's frustrating, it's heartbreaking, it's sad. It's like a bad car accident. It's just, you drive by and you look and you just feel sick to your stomach, and there's nothing you can do about it.